Just gonna switch this over here. Alright, welcome to my first stream of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. I forgot to put on chapstick. I need that or my lips get weird. Let's see. I posted a thing on my Tumblr a bit ago. Not sure if that's effective in any way. Especially when it's only like 2 hours before the stream starts at like 5 a.m. I wrote it up yesterday and scheduled it, but it occurs to me probably not a lot of people would have been seeing it at the time, since it's kind of early. Then again, people may be in different time zones. But I also don't have many people following me, and even less that are active. Oh well. Regardless, I will be streaming the first game in the Apollo Justice Trilogy, the version on Steam. Let's see, what do I know about this game beforehand? There's a new main character to play as. There are other characters. I'm looking at the art they've got on the splash thing on Steam that they do. I'm definitely seeing characters I haven't seen, and also one of them looks like she might be the girl from the episode 5 of the first game in the trilogy, which was added later and was probably using things that the Apollo Justice game introduced, like the model you can move around, because they were on the DS, I think. Someone seems to have a magic staff. It's one of those ones with all the rings on them, but it's like glowing. And there's Yellow Girl, who looks like the girl from Ghost Trick. I need to finish playing that game. Oh well, start up the game. I opened the game briefly a little bit ago when I installed it to make sure it would capture correctly, which I'm not sure it's doing. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Yes, it's autosave. Certainly like the presentation. Let's see. Messed with the options a little. How's the audio look? Not bad. Do I need to mess with any other options? Honestly, the sound effects seem kind of quiet. Maybe I turn that down just a little. I just up my volume here. Right, so I don't know much at all about this game. Oh, I think there's a thief girl, or a magician. Or maybe both of those things. I've seen fan art of her once or twice. One of them with Kaito Kid. Alright. Fun. We got like, those must be the chapter things. Oh, there's a new person there. It's got like a whole trailer or something. Neat. Oh, there she is. Line art style is different. It's like colored. Let's just jump in and see how it goes, I suppose. Who's that guy? Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Episode 1, Turnabout Trump. Like card games? Ooh, I like animation and stuff. Nice. Real step up, I guess, because it was on the DS and not the Game Boy Advance. Showdown time. Don't know who this is. You lose. Ooh. Goodness. I like the canvas texture they're using here. I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him hard. Me? Please, the cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should come to that. Cards look... This seems a bit more zoomed in. April 20th, 9:37 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. I'm gonna need a voice for Apollo. Something easy to manage. So, because he's gonna be most of the text. Or at least a good half of it. Certainly the most consistent. Something easy, different from Phoenix. Maybe a little higher? He looks younger. He's at least less broad. How old is he? Can I... Oh, the court record is on E now. Goodness. That's... not... none of these are Apollo. How do I... Okay, they've changed the controls slightly in there. Odd. Just need some getting used to, I think. Let's see. Something higher. Panicked. I need to be distinct from... Panicked. Palms sweaty. I can admit it, I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. I don't know who this is. Oh. Good morning, sir. Huh? Hello there. I don't think I've seen you around before. What is that face? This is my first time playing the game. I just got in here. There was a bit of a thing about the murder that we're presumably defending someone about, but I know nothing. Let's see. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise. That your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Yes, hello. I believe I greeted you already. Oops. Your first trial? It's a homicide, I guess. Or I guess. Or, I can speak. Your first trial? It's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Chords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. That explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your speech. I overdid it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down. You get my drift. Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that drift. As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. Can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you in the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. My name's Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today's my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. It's not him, no way. Hello there. Hat. Whoa. Good, morning. I feel like I've seen something. I think this is Phoenix. Thank you, I think. I think this is Phoenix. I think I've seen things. Because I only recently blocked the tag on Tumblr. And so, many years ago, I believe I've seen that amount of information. Morning, it's all up to you today. First trial, nervous. Meeting him, cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something, help. So you're... Fine, I'm fine. Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney, and he's your friend, so why? You'll see. That's a face. You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time. Shall we? Yes, sir. Okay, I need to focus. First trial, here comes justice. April 20th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 2. Ooh. Gotta say, I like the art style in here. A lot better than the ones from the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Which, I think they redrew them, for that trilogy, because they did originally been like some pixel art. So maybe the pixel art looks nicer than the more drawn, smooth art that they had in there, but this definitely looks better than the drawn art in that, at least. I like how the line art's colored and things just look more normal. Some people had some weird faces. Phoenix looked like a shark sometimes. The court is now in session. Now you've grown your hair out. I don't think it works. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is, fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Too late. Your name was Mr. Justice. And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor, but I'm fine, really. And the original of this game was already not pixelated. I see. I guess that makes sense. You can get some higher resolution on the DS. I think I've seen that the other games in this trilogy had like models. I saw it on the Steam page or something. I think they were on like the 3DS or something. Because there's like a gap between this game and the other two in this trilogy in which the Edgeworth games existed. Yes, Your Honor, but I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Of course, the game looks better. Yeah, I don't actually know when this trilogy came out. I picked it up when it was on sale a bit ago, because I was like, I'm enjoying Phoenix Wright, so I should play the other games in the series. I didn't actually pay attention to the release date. Mr. Gavin. Yes, Your Honor. I was under the impression you would be heading up to this case. That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. And my client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust his case to this greenhorn, why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you are the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience. Fine, but does he have cords of steel? Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. Alright. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Okay, at least I deal with that real quick. So it's not much of a spoiler that I had seen that fact. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne. To think, I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains. Winston Payne, subtle as ever, I see. Crime occurred at the Borscht Bowl Club. Borscht, I believe so. At the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him, wham, on the head, smack, killed him cold. A customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was a pianist for the club, it seems. Phoenix Wright, a pianist. This is the weapon that took the victim's life, a bottle of grape juice. Definitely not lying, don't worry about it. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. I should probably check the evidence. Deadly bottle added to the court record. Sure. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record? Right, I've heard of that. Yeah, the background music here is also pretty nice. Yeah, I've been playing these games for a bit. I only recently got into streaming. So, aside from a brief stint 2 years ago when I was playing Danganronpa V3, I've pretty much just played the first trilogy and also the first Professor Layton game. I've got plans for the other ones, but first I'm gonna get through some of this game because I'm trying to do them in release order because they have that one crossover game. The court record, right, I've heard of that. Use E to look at the evidence so far. Probably should do that. Alright, what we got? Attorney's badge. Oh, did I yearn for one of these? Just putting it on makes me feel ready. Let's see. I can look at it closer. Oh, we got this. I believe I can, yeah, if I use the arrow keys. I can... So this is pretty much the same as in the trilogy version. I can look at the ID number. There's an ID number inscribed on the back of the badge. There are many numbers like it, but this one is mine. Proof that I'm an attorney. To tell the truth, I get a happy feeling inside just looking at it. That's all there is to see on this one. I'm probably gonna switch the back button to control. It'd be a little easier to reach than Z. Smith's autopsy report, the time of death was around 2 a.m. April 17th. Death caused by a single blow to the forehead. Cool. Victim's name, Shadi Smith, age unknown. Odd. Male, estimated time of death, April 17th, between 1:45 a.m. and 2:15 a.m. Cause of death, cerebral hemorrhaging resulting from blunt trauma to the forehead. Sure. Crime photo 1, the sub-basement at Borscht Bowl Club. Cool. Alright, got some poker or something. No cap on that bottle. I suppose it could be a different one that he was hit with, just when they were like drinking or something. Deadly bottle. Grape juice bottle used as the murder weapon. Bears the defendant, Mr. Wright's prints. Anything to look at? Oh, we can look at the label. Grape juice. How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently, it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes with borscht. It's like beets, I think. I don't really eat beets. Mostly because we don't have them, but we had a bit in something recently and they didn't taste great, so I probably won't do that. Christoph Gavin. Age 32, boss at Gavin Law Offices, a first-rate defense attorney and my trusted mentor. Are you gonna die real early too, like me, huh? Phoenix Wright, age 33. How old was he at the end of the last game? 29, maybe? Something like that. It's been a good few years at least. Pianist at the Borscht Bowl Club, formerly an ace defense attorney of some renown. Shadi Smith, the victim in this case. A traveler, only recently back in country, age unknown. Winston Payne, the prosecuting attorney. For all his experience, he lacks a certain presence. Cool. Okay, that is bothering me. I'm going to... Where's the G button? I'm going to change that button. This one, you need to be controlled. Can you... No. No, apparently it doesn't want to do that. Whatever. It won't let me set it to control. Alright. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right? Just use E. Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. I already did that. So the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this Shadi Smith fellow? We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor. A traveler? Now, according to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear. He had some sort of connection with the defendant. That, too, is unclear at present, Your Honor. 8 years after the last 3 games. That's the case. 33? 35? 25? He could have been that age. I don't remember. Yeah. I suppose we'll get into why he stopped being a defense attorney at some point. Probably not in this first chapter. Probably gonna take a bit.
We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime.
If they'd only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing.
That doesn't appear to be the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. A history?
Oh, wonderful. The last game was sorely missing this. The whole game. Yeah, that figures. You generally don't get into big important stuff about people's backstory till the very end, unless they're like, you know, the one-off character for the case, which is not going to be in anything else.
At least not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we can see, it's a game of poker that was in progress at the scene of the crime.
Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in of itself. You can play it without gambling.
Indeed, it appears our defendant.
Ah, hello.
A couple people have shown up now. Is fallen to become the basest sort of criminal.
Objection!
That's an interesting voice. It's true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim, but it was only that, a game, in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. Come again?
The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present. And impress women.
That will be our first order of business here, then. Find out more about this fatal game of cards. That seems like a very rude question to ask right out the gate. Are you another bot? A bunch of bots have shown up and been like, ooh, Discord, blah blah blah. I have banned Discord. The word Discord. None of that. Anyway, no location information for you, or anyone else. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about this poker competition held the night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. The competition. I am a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My hero job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play using a game of poker. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is, a game, and our customers are happy. Straightforward enough. A pianist who can't play piano.
Better than a defense attorney who can't defend.
Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination. Don't blow it. Are you alright? You're sweating bullets. But bullets where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times, though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher?
What to do? Should I ask Gavin for a refresher course in cross-examination?
I suppose we'll do that in case it's any different.
Better safe than sorry, especially this early in the game.
Yes, teach me. I know nothing. Indeed, your job, Justice, is to be mindful of the court record and the testimony. Look for inconsistencies in the testimony with what the court record tells you. When you found an inconsistency, that's when you present the conflicting evidence from the court record with E. But I didn't hear anything strange at all in the testimony just now. A good sign that you need to press the witness with Q for more information. Press him? Don't let the fact that he's a remarkable man hold you back. Get more information. But isn't Mr. Wright my client? Well, think you can do it? Yes, thank you, sir. I think I can do it. I think you'd better, or we're going to have a problem. Just remember, find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Inconsistencies, lies. Phoenix Wright. As if Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Alright. Well, we have a much smaller health bar. As long as it does take away all of those segments. One at a time instead of pieces. Though basically nothing ever took one segment from the other thing, so whatever. Piano Spec Trade, hardly played all. Ooh. That's it. You can hardly play. Oh, I play sometimes when customers demand it. So I play them one song. That's usually all they want. Is that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is a mask. A respectable face I wear for the world at large. And why are you really at the Borscht Bowl Club? My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. It's a different voice than I was giving him. Definitely harsher. They pay you just to play poker. That would seem to be the case. I'm a professional, after all.
I detect pride in that statement. It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine.
Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston.
What?
I've played poker for 7 years in that little room. And I've never lost once. What? You see why the customers come now. Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction. It has quite a history, actually. Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. Black market? All in the past. Things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. I don't feel like that's true, but okay. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room. Smoky room, gambling hoods, you know. Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. Bosses gather around the table, cutting deals safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, Lagoon keeps watch through the small window. Practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. Yeah, definitely small. I didn't even notice it initially. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it's common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. The rules are simple. You play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards.
Hold it!
Just 2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there's some lying scattered on the floor. Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor, each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we use 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, the other blue. As I recall, in poker you make 5 cards. You make 5 card hands. You can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yes, a game of hands. Oh. This competition you're talking about. I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right. It was a simple game, after all. Are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment the crime occurred. Did you claim no connection to the crime? Oh, that's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point, it's against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Right, there's something I'd like made clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand, and I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Very well, the defendant will amend his testimony. Just one little press. I've got myself a whole new testimony. I plead silence regarding the murder. I will say I never touched the murder weapon. And you know that's not true.
Hold it!
Unless, of course, you're saying that it was a different weapon entirely, and that's something else. Silence? The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law. But why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage. And it's your job to turn that around in our favor, yes? Great. Like I didn't have enough to do already. Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about that testimony? Uh-huh. Wait, something he said did ring a little strangely. Just one thing. Now, what was it? When you figure it out, I'd suggest presenting evidence. Evidence that contradicts the testimony. A contradiction in Mr. Wright's testimony, but why? I'd better check the court record. I can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony. It's a little early to be jumping to conclusions. This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. If you need more information, don't forget to press. Right, I got it. I'm fine. Time to listen to that testimony again. That's fine. We know exactly what we're doing. Simple. It's a game. If it's happy. Silence regarding the murder. Never touch the weapon. Incorrect. Look at these fingerprints. Why is it on R now?
Objection!
Open objection. Presented evidence during the first cross-examination. So, you say you didn't touch the murder weapon. This bottle of grape juice. Right? So I said. Something the matter, Mr. Justice?
Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb.
What's this, Mr. Payne?
I examined the bottle in question, you see. It was covered with the defendant's fingerprints.
Objection! Okay, you're no need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Oh, that's a cute sprite. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears and our case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The prints alone don't prove he did.
Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints.
Uh-huh.
But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down.
Upside down? What does that mean?
It means he was holding the bottle inverted. And there can only be one reason for that. Yes. To brain someone with the bottle.
Yeah, he definitely seems to yell a lot more strongly than Phoenix. The sound effect definitely has a different quality to it. Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worse. Oh, I see no problem, Justice. Uh-huh. The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything, you'll see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court? I mean, you can hold a bottle upside down if you're just, like, carrying it around. Just carrying it by the neck. Not usually how you'd carry it, but, like, why not, I guess. I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case.
I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Objection!
Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it that reported the murder to the police? Reported?
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright, but still that.
Really?
Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we? The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from ground level.
That looks really silly with the head like that.
Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant.
That place is run down. What is on the piano? I see, and this is the phone that made the call. Right, cell phone out of the court record used by the defendant to notify the police from the restaurant's first floor. The defendant could have fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he is being uncooperative? Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I'd better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being.
Toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about.
What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment that the crime occurred. How could you possibly know this? That's a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say you are.
So someone else was in the room the night of the crime. That must mean they witnessed the crime. Everything up till now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? Very well. Prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. What are you doing?
The witness will state her name and profession.
Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness? You like hiding?
I surmise that she's been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns. So I use a little hair gel. Relax, people.
Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off.
You are sure?
I swear it on my gavel. Please, come out.
This isn't violence against hair crime, Your Honor. Well, if you are sure, it's okay.
Get a better... Now, the prosecution... Wait a minute. Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's paraphernalia? That's a look. Surely you only need one glove. What are you...
Yes. She is a professional, Your Honor. These are merely the tools of her trade.
And that would be...
My name is Holga Orley. I am employed as a waitress in Borscht Bowl Club restaurant.
And why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht that is naming restaurant.
The restaurant?
Okay, whatever. But I also perform, how's it said, other service?
I think she's meant to have some sort of accent. Probably Russian, given her look. Unfortunately, I don't know what Russian accents sound like. Is it like heavy weapons guy? Is he Russian? Maybe. I take it one of these other services is taking the customer's pictures.
Like, for example, this one.
Alright, sure. You actually have a color camera. Why can't the police get that? Let's see, what have we got here? I can take the... there we go. This game also has the option to take off the text, which the other game also lacked. At least as far as I could find, anyway. Yeah, all looks straightforward. Why is there, like, snow everywhere? I guess that was the stuff on the piano or something. Didn't look like that, though. That stuff looked more like wax. Whatever. That's the defendant.
Indeed, on the night of the murder. The man in white hat is the one who has gone kaput.
Indeed, that is the victim. Order! Order! This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps.
It is the same way as I drop cold bowls of borscht on laps of customers, casually.
Cold. Actually, that might be a cold soup now that I think about it. Which sounds... not fun. And the court will casually accept this new evidence. Olga's photo added to the court record. The defendant and Mr. Smith at the Borscht Bowl Club.
Now, witness, where were you at the time of the murder? I was in a room, the hideout, we call it.
Excuse me, the hideout?
It is a room where famous
Gangster, bad guy was arrested. Alright.
It's a room where murder took place.
What?
You look utter surprise. It is lovely. I'll post my courtroom door later for you. Photos will be numbered and you will write which ones you want copy of.
So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shadi Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orley, our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means... Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about that night's events. That fateful, rather.
At night, a customer asked me to deal cards for game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. The victim, he plays whole time with his hands on the locket at his neck. Then, last hand is done. Something terrible has happened. That man flew at victim and is strangling him to death.
That's, not remotely the cause of death. Incidentally, who won the game?
Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
Objection!
That's ridiculous. Because Mr. Wright can't lose.
Justice, maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection?
But he hadn't lost in 7 years.
Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case in my first 7 years as prosecutor either. Incidentally, I have some evidence here. These are the poker chips that lay the very moment of the crime. The hand and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
Chips, you say?
I mean, yes. Imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army, and the chips are the spoils.
I know that, after all. In my youth, I was known as the poker head of the courtroom, number 3.
I think he means poker face.
Looking at this picture, it does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table. Chips photo added to the court record. Defendant and victim's chips when the crime took place. Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Still gonna press everything, but it's pretty obvious where the contradiction lies. Customer asked me to deal cards for a game. You were dealing cards? Do you do this often?
I am doing this. If customer wishes it, I serve anything. Bush, cards, or bush. It is my work.
It is good to hear of a place that hasn't forgotten the meaning of service.
Welcome you to Bush Bowl Club, where Bush is as warm as waitresses. Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. It was cold. Both players played with hats on,
It's already April. How could it be cold?
At Bush Bowl Club, we have pride on authentic Russian restaurant theme. Yes. Outside, it is city in spring, but inside it is always as cold as Mother Russia.
Why am I going there?
When it comes to hot bush, cold is best seasoning, The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on the locket at his neck. Whoops. Have a locket.
Oh, I can't look at the... profiles from here. His locket.
I believe it was good luck charmed, He gripped it many times as he played that night.
Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it were small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift.
The defense would like a clarification. This is a locket we're talking about? I mean a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket.
Of course, I knew that. It was probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that.
No, a locket's a locket. It doesn't matter what... It's considered bad form to poke fun at the heart of hearing in our society. Heart of hearing or heart of understanding? So what happened next? Then, last hand is done, but something terrible has happened.
Something terrible? The defense will refrain from needless shouting.
Sorry. I need to seriously reconsider this vocal training thing. Now, Miss Orley, can you tell us what happened?
Oh, I was so frightened that I trembled with fear. That man flew at victim. It is strangling him to death.
Hold it!
But the defendant would never do such a thing. It's not a good defense. Well, now, I can't say I've ever heard the defense tried this tactic. If possible, please refrain from embarrassing me. Still, why would anyone do something like this over a game of poker?
Perhaps it is because the defendant has lost a game? Yeah, it's a crushing defeat for a man undefeated. So it always is with men like him. Winners make sore losers. Oh, how the mighty fall.
Go ahead. I believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir. Leave it to me. There were only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shoddy Smith, Mr. Wright, and if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, I've got you now, Horley. I just want to ask for cards. Strangling him to death. Incorrect. Look at the autopsy report. Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd. Normal customers only choke on bush. No, I mean this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head. Miss Orley, really now? Did you witness the crime? That's fun. Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like it was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything. Was the autopsy report messed up? Someone put his hat back on him to hide it? That wouldn't really work very well.
Yeah, it is a fact that he was hit, Your Honor.
Ooh.
Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation.
Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit. Crime photo 2 added to the court record. Why don't the police have color cameras? Photo of forehead, hat removed during investigation. Sure.
But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at victim, his neck.
Oh, really, Miss Orley? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Did they examine the victim's neck? There should be some evidence of strangulation, unless it wasn't overly strong grip or whatever. They've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's one thing in your testimony that troubles me. Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination. There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too.
At night, customer asked me to deal cards for a game.
Cool, both players put hats on. Something terrible. After he tried to strangle, hit him with the bottle. I see.
Hold it!
You didn't say anything about hitting before.
So sorry. I must be forgetting this.
Witness, you will take greater care with your testimony.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. And that clears up the discrepancy with the autopsy report, I believe. The defendant made to strangle his victim, then changed his mind, and chose a simpler, blunter means to do the job. Yes, that sums it up nicely.
So he strangled him, then hit him. Something's fishy about all this. Go ahead. I believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir. Leave it to me. Only 3 people in the room. I guess that's the same as before. I get it. Got you now. Let's see, what do we have about that? Oh yeah, you should be able to see it, if that were the case. Also, I have this. Can I, like, look at it? I didn't examine it. Sure, it's a cell phone. Oh well, what's this? You just tape the back on, actually. Wow, the battery's being held in with a piece of tape. You should just buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it, or he just doesn't care. Okay. I believe this should do it, because, you know, there's no marks on his neck from the strangulation. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness statement? I'm not sure I follow you. It clearly contradicts the, I thought. You don't sound very sure, Mr. Justice. Objection overruled. Oops. I don't think that won me any points with the judge. Okay, clearly it's something else. Hit him with the bottle. After he tried to strangle the victim, hit him with the bottle. More information? Not really. None of that goes against it necessarily. He doesn't have a locket on. He has it there. That Phoenix has that locket now, actually. He's wearing it. I've seen him. Interesting. Hold on a locket at his neck. Locket. Is this gonna be the same where good luck charm, gripped it many times, you like rockets. Pendant, not a rocket. Yes, yes. Oh, okay. Let's see. Maybe I show that he no longer has the locket? How might do it? Look at this, it's gone. No, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about? And also shouting. You shouted objection and then said nothing. Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on the locket at his neck, I believe she said. I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar. No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean? If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean the defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Oh. Because he, like, has it. What's in it? The defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say. Yes? I just noticed this, but you have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. You have a daughter. I believe I've seen Magician Thief Girl, who I've seen vaguely existing, referred to as such. I don't know how literal that is, but I guess it's more literal than I was necessarily thinking, if he's actually saying that. Or it could be... Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter? We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. Why would the other guy have a picture of his kid? I suppose that'd be why you're taking off with it. So, Mr. Wright has a locket too? Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence? Well now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of this game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear that the defendant lost. Badly.
It's like a full house versus a better full house, it looks like. Miss Orley, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and defendant. Serious competition.
The game began with 3,500 point in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, it was the victim. For our last hand, defendant played with all chips on table and loose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
How many times have I heard these words? I'd done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor, and now I regret what I've done. A common tale, but true.
He thinks the judge watches too many old court movies.
Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong.
The game began with chips for each man. Check something real quick.
Yeah, that... Okay, now that checks out. That's fine.
Game began with chips for each man.
Are those the usual starting points? Were there any special rules used?
No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
Each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be... exactly 7,000 points.
Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division. House chips come in two sizes, small and large.
Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used?
Of course.
Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder?
Of course.
Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips?
Explain? What is there to be explained? Poker chips are poker chips. Not fish and chips, not a chip off the old block, and not a motorcycle cop either.
Thanks. Now that I've pressed her, I'd better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even? This is a very cute sprite. I like him.
It, as I've been saying before, was a game, not gambling. Hard, perhaps, for a capitalist to understand. Two types of chip. 100-point chip and 1,000 points chip.
Which is which, though?
It is not money,
Justice?
Sir.
Don't you find her comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'll have it added to your I'd have it added to her testimony myself. Well, does the defense want the witness to add to her testimony?
Yes, please. I'd like some more information.
Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. I wish I knew where I was going with this. Very well, witness, if you would be so kind.
Your Honor.
I do not know Russian. One kind of chip is worth 100 points, the other is worth 1,000. Two kinds in all. Right. Which is which, though? Mr. Gavin said that this testimony is important. To be honest, I have no idea why. Mr. Justice, do the court a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand. You're not in kindergarten.
Sorry, I'm fine. I'd better think of something to ask. And quick. The 2 types of chips. The small ones are 100 and the big ones are 1000. Right, of course. Don't waste our time.
Is that all?
Yeah. Great, Mr. Gavin made me stop her. Now
I'm the one who looks dumb. Oh, Justice? I mean, you shouldn't have just said right and then not clarified. You should have just straight up asked. Please try not to embarrass me like that.
Who? Me?
There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands.
What?
It's a simple matter of calculation. Go on, try it. Yeah, I figured. Let's get a better look at these. So it's altogether 7,000, and each person starts. One's 1,000, the other is 100. So we have 4, 6. So we have 6 red and 3, 6, 9, 10 black. Which from that would make the, which doesn't really work if it's the wrong one. If the black is the 1,000. Yeah. So everyone would have started with, like 3 red and 5 black. So Phoenix is actually in the lead. Lost this hand, it looks like, but that's just by 1 hand. If he's still ahead. Although if you put everything on the table anyway, I suppose that wouldn't matter. But that's a different thing. Simple of matter. Yes, I did that. We're not in kindergarten after all. Calculation. Yes, but first I'm gonna press everything else.
The one who's winning. It was victim.
Hold it!
You're telling me that Mr. Wright, undefeated for 7 whole years, was losing.
It must have been a most unlucky day for him. I'm glad I did not take other picture of him. It would break camera, certainly. The chips, they weren't always to the victim's side of the table. So you're telling us it was a one-sided game?
They went always.
One-sided and... For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose.
Hold it!
Last hand?
It was largest points of any hand. The defendant's hand, it was excellent. He tried to use it to take victory from behind.
It appears that both the defendant and the victim's hands are in this picture. That is truly an excellent hand. However, so is the victim's. I might want to turn up the background text opacity, especially since I can just take it off. Because it's not hard to read, but it could be better. And with how things like to go by a little extra quickly occasionally, I'd rather have better guarantee that I can see them.
One with highest number wins, so defendant loses. The victim, Mr. Smith, had a stronger hand than the defendant and crushed him. I believe that explains what occurred next. Once cards laid on table, it happened. The moment loss was decided, the defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Hold it!
And what happened next? Even to think of it now, I shake and trembled. I do not believe such a thing would happen.
What such thing? Please, you must believe I had no idea. How could such thing occur? What such thing? The defendant had been hitting the victim. I saw it all happen right before me. I saw a bottle coming down on the victim's head.
Decisive, isn't it, Your Honor? My witness saw the very moment of the crime.
Remember, your first goal is to gather information. Yes, sir. Look out, contradiction. Here comes justice. Alright, I should be able to fight this with this. Because then you should do the math.
Objection!
Yeah. You're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure?
It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won, if you're not in kindergarten.
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course, duh.
Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points. Yes, if my calculations are correct. Let's see, 3 plus 1, carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up,
How much is it?
do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony.
But why? How could this be?
Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right, there's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. What do you mean chip count? Well, if they're right, you just have the numbers mixed up. If I'm understanding what you mean by chip count, I'm taking that to be the numbers of things you have. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can be only one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness, other madness.
Show me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Oh, well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait. The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
Indeed, the victim did have the larger number of chips still. Oh, you need to do additional math. Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math and add up points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points and the defendant had 4,100 points. Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible.
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning. Now, Miss Orly, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime, weren't you? Why is there a lobster in there? Order! Order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive. Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust the witness's testimony. Who's objecting? You? Okay. Sure. Excuse me, what is it, Miss Orly?
I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see, see what, Miss Orly? What do we see? In the last hand, there was cheat. A cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, or do you mean a scam? Ooh.
They're all the same thing. Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are.
What's the cheat? Nothing looks out of place. I mean, the ace of spades there is weirdly stand out next to them. They did say they were using 2 decks of cards. So I guess it could just have different designs for them. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn for the interesting. Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. Alright, what's up? Witness's testimony. The final hand.
The last hand, both men had full house. There's 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith.
Miss Orly, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. A full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make, in my experience.
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin, what's a full house? Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker.
I can't say this bodes well for your case or career. I mean, it's fine for his career. He can, like, once he's done with this, he can go look it up. It's fine. He can find out.
What is this? Some kind of secret court poker ring?
Justice, you know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes?
Yeah, no problem.
2 cards with the same number make a pair, and 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand where 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You can see each player's hand in this photo.
Oh, they both have full houses.
We forget there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
The defense may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Alright. Last hand. Whoops. Both had full house.
Hold it!
Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway? is quite hard. It is making a pair and three of a kind at the same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult, to be sure. You can take my word as the poker head of courtroom number 3. Very difficult, but is not impossible. Okay, full house, hard. This line of questioning, waste of time. There's 4 of each card in deck from ace to king.
Hold it!
4 of each card, you say? There's 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is interesting fact that this number 4 comes from the number of seasons. Is that so? I never really looked into the history of cards. You don't say. And did you know that the cards are numbered 1 to 13? Add all the cards in a deck and you get 364 a year. A little short, but sure. I guess you also have a joker sometimes, so that's fine. You don't say. Isn't that 1 day short? Well, then it wouldn't be even, though.
That's why each deck has 2 jokers. Say the second joker stands for the leap year. Thus, you have a perfect representation of the year, all in a deck of cards.
You don't say. We're going to be in this courtroom for a year if it keeps going like this. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious.
Hold it!
How so? How was it clear? Well, the defendant played a 5th ace. There's only 2 there. What are you talking about? A 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces. It didn't. What are you talking about? He has 3 kings. And Mr. Wright's too.
Obviously, cheating was afoot. Or perhaps I should say a hand.
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke. Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony, please. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all.
Hold it!
A 5th ace. It should not exist, no? I still remember both hands very well. They were mixing 2 decks anyway, weren't they? Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's 2. Well, where did this card come from then?
Perhaps we should ask the defendant that very question.
Why would Phoenix be more likely to have been cheating than the other guy anyway? Like, you can't tell who the problem is just from that, even if it did happen.
Adding cards to a deck is no less serious a taboo than forging evidence in a court of law.
Now, perhaps it is time for you to say something, Justice. You bet. I've no intention of staying quiet. Not me, no sir. I'd better find some contradicting evidence fast. Next moment, game becomes argument, defendant's trick was exposed.
Hold it!
Do you recall what the men were arguing about? I believe so. The victim, he shouts, "You are a cheater!" And then, the defendant shouts something like, "I have objection."
Shouting objection, eh? Old habits are hard to break. First he bluffed his way through the courtroom, now he bluffs his way through life.
Objection!
However, Mr. Wright lost the hand. That seems to cast the shadow of doubt on Mr. Smith. Humiliation from losing even when cheating. That is what set fire to defendant's heart. So what did the flaming defendant do next? Took a bottle in his hand. What, Mr. Smith?
Hold it!
By bottle, are you referring to this? The defendant uses this bottle to...
This be behavior is an admission of cheating by the defendant.
Why use a grape juice bottle? It was on hand.
You'd be surprised at what can be used as a weapon. The juice is recommended drink of Bush Bull Club. This year's vintage, remarkable for its hefty flavor.
Hefty enough to brain a grown man, apparently. First she says it was a serious competition. Now she says there was cheating. Justice, notice anything odd? Her testimony keeps changing. Now she says the defendant cheated.
Actually, yes, I had noticed that.
Let's get the truth about this cheating first, shall we? Shall we?
Right, leave it to me.
Full house, 4 in each deck. That's incorrect. Look at the picture.
Objection!
It appears the witness is mistaken.
Mistaken? But my name...
Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you'd said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice, perhaps you want to explain your point in a way the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. What particular point contradicts the witness's testimony? These. Look at them. Oh, it's R. Why, it's here, of course. It's where? Where is it that you're pointing? Where? Good question. We've already heard today on the dangers of bluffing. Sorry, Your Honor, I better rethink this. You'd best point out your point again. A particular point contradicts the witness's testimony. She said that the... Did she say the defendant? No. Pretty sure she said the victim had the aces, did she not? Three? Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces. Mr. Wright's 2. Right, do I need to point at the aces? I thought the... whatever. What's the difference between pointing at the aces and the kings? I was saying that the king was a king and not an ace. Whatever. Same thing. At least I didn't take any damage from that. That would have been dumb. Miss Orley, in your testimony you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces, but as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces.
Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question.
Objection!
It doesn't either. You can look at it. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's this 5th ace? I see cheating, all right, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. I like that far away shot. The lineless looks nice. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It's true. I've seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you.
That's odd. She must be lying. She's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts, Mr. Gavin. Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. The cards? Mr. Payne?
Yes?
Players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this as evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? Definitely the victim's. He's the one who has the cards weird. It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would.
Very well.
Received evidence, victim's hand. Victim Smith's hand was left at the scene, a full house. Well, time's a wasting. Get to it, Justice. I will. What have we got going on here? Oh, this one's blue. Only one of these cards has a blue back. I'm much more of a red guy myself. Blue is so not red, you know? Card backs are red. For some reason, I thought they were using blue-backed cards in the final hand. Nothing else to be said, I suppose. Yes, sir. I did that. I literally just did that. Okay. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using arrow keys to turn it every which way, and B and M to zoom in and out. Oh, B and M are all the way over there. I have a microphone in my way. This should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do this. I did it already. I did it. Do you want me to do it again? Oh, that seems to have been a reset. Can I zoom in and out? Those are the wrong buttons. I see. I sure can zoom in and out. This helps nothing. Whatever. You want me to look at it again? Card backs are red. Okay, that's the same dialogue. Didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Uh-huh. Oh. Which was it now? What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color. That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. What was that, Miss Worley?
No, yet. I merely said that I have...
Your Honor. Mr. Gavin, yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. Which card was that, now that I'm thinking about it? I didn't actually pay attention to that part. It is this middle king here. Odd. The dealer. Wait, so you mean this witness, Miss Orley? She's the cheater, a professional, I'd wager. Order! Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean, of her mistake. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. Why is it suddenly so quiet? The fan seems to have turned off somewhere. That's impossible! But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shoddy Smith. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean... The defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley, are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident, and if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. Oh, goodbye. Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orley?
It appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice, Your Honor. It seems you presented a new possibility to the court. I'm suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What?
I did it. I held out. I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
Objection!
Oh, you're yelling now.
Mr. Wright?
I can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think one of the cards has a different color back. Don't you wonder what it means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous.
Mr. Payne, you, of all people, should know Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. I can speak. As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night.
That was said before.
The 2 decks of the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed.
You used different colors and they still got mixed up.
We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
However, in the end, 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix, which means there was cheating.
Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo?
Yes?
Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped?
When?
There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped.
Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? If we're going with the concept that she was in fact the murderer, then she wouldn't have a reason to swap the cards after death and then also still be confused about them at the very least. But it doesn't make sense if it... There's no reason to swap them during the murder. That'd be dumb. You're busy. Let's see. There's no reason to swap before the murder. I guess it would have had to have been after, but... But why? When was the card swapped? You should think about why the card was swapped. To make the cheating less obvious? Less obvious cheating. Swap. Or to make it... Swapped into the deck. We'll go with after, probably. Perhaps it happened after the murder?
What's that? Ridiculous. What's the point of cheating after the hand's been shown? That's silly.
Objection!
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible. Okay.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different color? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Ah, quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. Yes, again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Oh, indeed, that's one of the mysteries before us. There's another. Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only 2 remain in the room, alive that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? It wouldn't have been her, because she was confused by the fact that it wasn't right. We're not gonna bring in someone else, because there's no evidence of a 4th person around. The one who swapped the cards was Mr. Wright. It was you, wasn't it? Why would I do such a thing?
Well, because,
maybe you were trying to hide the fact that you cheated. That would make sense, but the swapped card was in the victim's hand.
oh.
Sorry. I'm a nice guy, but I'm not that nice. Come to think of it, he would lack a motive for helping his opponent to win. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? There's no indication of another person, but she wouldn't be confused about it being like that if she did it herself. The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orley either. What are you suggesting? It's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orley at this point.
Yes, I know, but she was the one who dealt the cards, right?
I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was thinking about how much fun all this is.
Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. The one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orley. Then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction? We'll find that, indeed, after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made 2 critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card, because the one who did the swap didn't know 2 colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right, the person replaced the 5th ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a 5th ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True, not until now. But you have to admit the possibility of a 4th person. Oh, it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. This trial has proceeded on one central assumption, namely that at the time of the incident there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes. April 20th, 11:52 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. You suddenly claimed there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well, now, I think you would know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice? Yes, sir. The defense has summoned me to his chamber, or the judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright? You're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there. Cute. I have no idea where she came from. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago, what I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I never, honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. See, poker's all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law. Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Your body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding! That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, who'd notice that? Oops. Words, habits, twitches. It's all information for the reading. I have a terribly squeaky chair. Nothing to be done about it, though. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, now I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will, soon. Almost forgot. One more thing about this case. You should know I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it. I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special. It's time. Real trial begins now. Do your best. To be continued. Oh, that's a fun jingle. Save the game, yes please. Save complete. Wonderful. Now we're just gonna continue onward. Continue to next chapter? I mean, I guess. April 20th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 2. Is that the chapter? No, it's... Oh, chapter is different from episode. I get confused. Because most things would call that chapter. Okay, that's fine. I see. April 20th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 2. Court will now reconvene. As our witness, Miss Olga Orley, recovered.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness.
Perhaps we can hear her version of the events again.
That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand. Very well, the witness will take the stand. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession? That seems excessive. We took a 20-minute break. We don't need to relearn who she is. Perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser. Unless you're saying she's lying about her identity, I suppose. Not. Oh.
Name's Olga Orley. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer.
People call me Olga Quick Fingers Orley. Oh, really?
Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian. My last name sounds like oh really.
There, that's the truth. Hope you're satisfied. Witness, you will tell the court what you were really up to that night.
Fine, I'll talk.
We had a plan, see? Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Bush Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress.
So you were in cahoots with the victim.
Not that he needed my help, since he was a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game.
It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright.
The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. It was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card, and the trap would snap shut.
You swapped the cards.
Exposed to the cheater, and losing on top of it. It would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Indeed, getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins.
7-year legend destroyed by one little card.
That was the plan. Oh, really, Orley? How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake. A mistake. I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet, what happened to that planted card?
Hey,
That's right.
He's lucky. I'll give him that.
You'd have to be slip-free from a trap laid by... You'd have to be to slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quick Fingers Orly. Oh, really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick.
Cute? Who wants to be cute?
I'm not cute, I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. Testing. Da-da-da. The best laid traps.
At night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant.
That doesn't make any sort of sense. A surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect. If that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up.
Look who's talking. Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice. But witnesses like her who needs criminals. With defendants like Mr. Wright who needs prosecutors. Alright.
At night, I planted the card like I was supposed to.
This planted card, which card was it exactly?
Trump card, the 5 of Hearts.
What? Let me guess, Mr. Wright was supposed to have switched the 5 with the ace to make a full house. That doesn't make sense. Those are 7s. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, thereby ruining his legend.
I slid it into Wright's pocket.
When was this?
Before the match, of course, while he was eating. At the Bush Bowl Club, we serve bush and suckers.
Remind me to never go there.
Of course, the card was to make its grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him.
So everything went according to plan.
Exactly. The 5th ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud.
Or worse things to be known as, I suppose. Tell us what happened with the search.
But the planted card was gone. The trap failed.
The card disappeared.
Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of Hearts. Gone, without a trace. Poof, Zippo. We searched every nook and cranny, even inside his cute little hat.
But the card was nowhere to be found, is this correct?
Never in my long storied career, ever has Quick Fingers Orly been so readily duped.
Really? So, what did happen to that 5 of Hearts? I know she said her name was pronounced differently, but I cannot envision how else one would pronounce it.
Don't look at me. Why don't you ask that cheating, lying, two-faced defendant? So the 5 of Hearts is still missing in action. Next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it.
Why?
Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd?
You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing. Which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim.
Well...
What was that just now? I sensed something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice.
No, nothing, Your Honor.
What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Miss Orly, you're hiding something.
What are you talking about? You!
Me, quick fingers, Orly, hiding something.
The defense will refrain from baseless accusations.
I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is that true? Is this true?
Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw when Wright hit him. With my own eyes, I saw it.
Are they always going to make it that obvious when there's meant to be a body language tell, or what's this weird vibe I'm getting? Maybe it's just to introduce the concept. That witness, for instance, was Orly. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Touching her neck, was it? That's closer to her ear, but sure. Okay. Yeah, no, I got that. Whoa, what's going on? This sensation, it's coming into focus. There, that twitch, it's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit, like I couldn't before. Perceive.
Gotcha!
That's a new line. Miss Orly, perhaps you were unaware of this yourself.
Unaware of what?
Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand.
My neck? So what?
But indeed, Justice, I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of the testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it.
Memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about?
This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us? Her habit is stretching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her most of the moment of the crime? Miss Orly, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an inerasable impression on your neck is this. Was she hit? On the back of the neck? It's not like we have anything else.
Take that!
Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon? But something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain?
What's he talking about now?
It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit, not you.
This is a cross-examination, not cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant.
Justice, I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. It's certainly a unique cross-examination. Sure. I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss Orly, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment.
I am knowing nothing.
When did you put all those back on? That's like a lot of layers. Aren't you like warm? Wait, no, you're not Russian. The witness will testify, please. Now.
Fine.
He's the one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sights until the cops got there.
Hold it!
You seem uneasy. You try standing up here. Eyes are darting all over the place. I must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like?
Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at that table until the cops came.
Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So, what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence.
What's that?
He did not sit there. He needed to call the police on his cell phone, which didn't get signal down there or something. Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim contradicts this testimony. She didn't let him out of her sight until the cops got there. I know there's some evidence that contradicts that.
Take that!
Miss Orley, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Bowl Club. So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. I mean, she could follow him out of the room. I think that's not an unreasonable, idea. The man who picked up a bottle and swung it that night wasn't the defendant. What's your grudge against him? Or maybe just rather you wouldn't want the other guy to get in trouble? These are some really nice visuals. Showdown time. Dirty cheat! Check his pockets, now! It's gone! The card's gone! You lose. Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to right. And he hit me! You, some master of cheating you turned out to be. When I came to, the victim was already dead. Is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure. Well, where does this leave us?
Madness. This is madness. I'm dreaming. It must have been me who was hit with a bottle, and I'm imagining all of this.
It appears our prosecution is at his wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events?
Mr. Gavin, sir?
I believe that, as the defense in this case, we're compelled to call Miss Orley a big fat liar.
What?
Three were in the room the night of the murder, the defendant, victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled, the witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of that argument was murder. Denouement.
What? I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me.
What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright, you're just like shoving her out of the witness stand so you can be there instead. There's only one place to stand. Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know 2 colors of cards were being used. A 4th person.
This theory again. Your 4th person doesn't exist.
Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. Perfect place to catch the real criminal. I feel like the murder case was going to court anyway, regardless of anything you decided. The real criminal. And we're in luck. Clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less.
What?
Oh. Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about?
Sorry.
Remember what I said. The 4th person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color on the backs of the cards. Right, but how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet there's one person here in our court who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was?
It's not me, I swear.
Who is this 4th person? Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue? Someone said, like, blue hellfire or something like that. Was it Gavin here? I have the history, but I don't think it. That's not what I wanted to press. Apollo, do you seriously think that? No, I pushed the wrong button. I think I'm seriously confused. I'm seriously sorry. That didn't go well. Well, it can't be helped. I almost missed it myself. But it doesn't do anyone any good to turn their eyes away from the truth. Does it, Christoph? I meant to do that one. I wanted to look at the thing, and I was just sort of looking at people's profiles in case they mentioned something. I'm annoyed now. That's not what I wanted. Mr. Gavin. You don't mean... Christoph Gavin, you were the 4th person that night. But of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is in black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table. But look! You can see the colors in this photo! Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. That's so annoying. Why on earth is present a different button than pull up the evidence or your normal confirm button? That's so odd. It's not like I can rebind them because that'll rebind the other functions on the spacebar. Ugh. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. It was only that, a game. In the purest sense, a competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, the backs wreathed in blue flames, know its final outcome. Well, Kristoff? Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? No, nothing. Excuse me, it was just so sudden. Right, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff, you know, even I'd never take a joke this far.
This has gone beyond ridiculous. Beyond some, this is insanity. A defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder.
I assure you, I'm quite sane.
What possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim?
I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either.
Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met.
Well, what if they have?
Huh?
There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night, before the game started. What are you suggesting? Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court. The defense would like to request no such thing. Who's the one in charge of this case? It's me. Shut. Mr. Gavin, testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before that game of poker be related? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss Orley... Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is the defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony?
Yes.
This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. It too, Justice. You would betray me, your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please. Wow. Appetite before murder. That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shoddy Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call. Defense attorney Gavin. Mr. Gavin, you were at the Bush Bowl Club the night of the murder. I dine with him rather frequently.
And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder.
Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong. Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Justice.
Sir?
He's lying and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Evening, had dinner, sat at the table in the photograph. My health got refilled at some point. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes, he dines with me at the Borscht Ball Club quite frequently. We were enjoying our usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. Usual. I always eat at the table closest to the piano. I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting.
So, the plates and such on the table were from your dinner.
Indeed, remnants of my meal with Kristoff. We dined for 2 hours, then Kristoff left. After that, Shadi Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left.
Hold it!
5 minutes? So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time. That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure.
Oh, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Kristoff Gavin and Shadi Smith may have met.
I believe I did say that.
Here I was all nervous about this meeting. Now we hear that they just passed in the hall.
It does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder. The auto save is going off, like, so often. I keep seeing it pop up on the side. Oh, it would be, if that were all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress.
Hold it!
Right. About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga Orley mentioned.
The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card, and the trap would snap shut. You swapped the cards! Just like that,
The legend would be dashed to pieces. Yes, a harmless prank, in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. Yeah, he's got his hands in his pockets, like, all the time right now. I imagine that's not something he doesn't normally do.
a quirk.
I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted. Yes, I stuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of Hearts. The 5 of Hearts was, like, fully useless in the final hand that was dealt anyway. Which I guess was fine because it was meant to be found, so whatever. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Dispose? Where? There's plenty of cards on the floor. There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle.
An empty bottle of grape juice.
The murder weapon? Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That is the alarm for the dog food. I'll get to that in just a second. That sounds like terrific drama. A card inside the murder weapon. That's strange. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Yeah, I thought I looked at it kind of closer beforehand. Like, you can see through it just fine. There's no card in here. The bottle's completely empty. I tried to rebind the Z key to control, and yet it didn't. I wonder if it's in use somewhere. Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3, approves of this battle of wits. Automod caught someone trying to link one of those. I don't even know what those sites are for. Please revise your testimony with this new information. I discovered the trap during the game and disposed of the card in the bottle.
Hold it!
Why in the bottle? I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to entrapment, you see. I knew it was coming. Oh, so you struck first. I like that. I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least, when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't. The girl was knocked out cold. Smith was uncontrollable. I'll have to call the police.
Hold it!
You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down in the hideout. Was anyone else at on the first floor at that time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night after all. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. Didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. Yeah, kind of weird that you left her with uncontrollable, angry man in the first place, to be quite honest. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead.
Hold it!
And when you returned, the victim was already dead, yes. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in. A little. He was bleeding from his forehead, after all. I guess I'd be startled too, if I walked in on a scene like that. That's when I made another phone call to Defense Attorney Gavin.
Hold it!
Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair, and I figured Christopher's law offices would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Christoph. It was I who got you involved, after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. This is the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about. Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him now. Yes, sir. I have to think. What's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with this testimony? The truth has to be in there somewhere. Locked in, got the trap, card in the bottle. You say that, but there's no card in this bottle.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? I've examined the bottle, and I don't see any card in here. No. What? Mr. Wright, surely isn't all you have to say for yourself? I don't know how to vocalize that. I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came in and took it out? Oh, and a sixth person could have helped. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honor. Give me a minute.
I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. You looked inside that bottle. There was nothing.
So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. I don't get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore. Good evening. Christoph and I had dinner, sat at the table, walked in, discovered the trap, put it in the bottle. Knocked out cold, went to call the police, hit blood, called Defense Attorney Gavin.
Hold it!
Why in the bottle? Okay, that doesn't seem to be different. How rude. Keep trying to trick you. Knocked out cold, Smith was uncontrollable, went to call the police. let's see. Alright, so if we pointed that out, it's whatever. What about that bottle? It seems to be like a different bottle than this one. This one's got a lid. Unless someone put the lid back on it. That wouldn't have been on his side of the table, though. Would have been odd to do that. No real indication. Blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. We could point out about his hat. Was still on. Did you put the hat on? Well, we could have done this before we pointed out the bottle. So unless we would have to do both things and get interrupted by a different thing, or combine the information we got, but we didn't really get anything out of pointing out that there wasn't a card in the bottle, not directly. Knocked out cold, his trap. Bloodstream. That's the best I got, is point out that he still has his hat on by the time this photo was taken.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice, next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court? I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put the hat on his head. You put the hat on the dead man's head. He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright, just like in this photograph. And I picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head.
Why'd you do a thing like that?
I need to find a good place to pause for a minute to feed the dog. All I can say is I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So Miss Orley didn't see it. It being the victim's or his head? I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. We're gonna need to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone? Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle just to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, Let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. A reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone? At night, recall that I spoke with defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Ooh. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. The gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good. He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. I mean, someone cracked that flawless bone china pate? Pate? What are you talking about? It wasn't you, was it? Bone china. What are you I don't know what that means. Me? Please, the cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should have come to that. Bone china plate. Okay, it definitely didn't have an L when he said that, right? Yeah, no, it didn't. Whatever. Oh, okay. A kind of porcelain. It's very smooth and shiny. Not plate, but pate. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. Wait a second. Something's not right about that phone call. Yeah, he shouldn't have known the cause of death. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bowl Club. He left the Borscht Bowl Club? Most certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china pate? Oh, that's right. Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. When I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it, Phoenix Wright? Order! I will have order! Mr. Payne!
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear defense attorney Gavin's testimony?
Well, as the prosecutor, I...
Very well. We'll break for 10 minutes. After which, Mr. Gavin will take the stand for cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Very well, this will be the final recess for the day. Perfect. For that recess, I will have to pause it and go feed the dog. The dog will be fed, probably get some more water. I will be back in just a minute. been fed. He didn't seem overly interested in getting up to eat it, but it was given to him, so good enough. Turn the text back off. Continuing on. How's this? Google. April 20th, 2:32 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Ryder, both in the judge's chamber. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? May I? Who's this? Oh, hello. You were the daughter. What was your name again? Uh-huh. What?
Hello, sir. Please pick a card.
What's all this about? Is this one okay?
Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it.
A trump card?
The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all.
Ooh, blood on it. An ace. Where do I remember that card from? Where'd you get this? I guess he must have been the one to swap it. Or maybe you took it from the other guy. If he was the one to swap it, I don't know why he would, though. I still don't know.
Mr. Smith's hand has three aces, and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. It is true! I have seen it! The 5th ace! I was cheating, I swear to you!
The missing 5th ace. Wait, the splotch of red. Is this blood? Oh, wait. Why does it say that?
You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it.
This blood-stained card is my trump card for finding the truth? I fell deep in thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. A girl. I'd seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. I guess you have different colors of outfits. Bloody ace added to the court record, received from a mysterious girl. Could this be the missing 5th ace? Looks like I can investigate. April 20th, 2:45 p.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 2. Let's take a closer look at this thing. Alright, we can look at the blood. A single drop of blood marks the front of the card. Okay, cool. And it's red. That's all we got. Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, the witness state his name and occupation.
Is this farce necessary, Your Honor? Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it.
Objection!
I don't know if this is where you're meant to be right now. I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright. Do you think you're doing right? Well, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit. Oh. When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to have been there. You would have had to have been there in the hideout at the time of the crime. In other words, I must be the real killer. Is that what you're trying to say? Not bad, Apollo. Mr. Gavin. I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation, I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night? Witness testimony. That fateful night. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. Bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright.
So, you witnessed the murder?
For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand, after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify, as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright, you had to say that because that was the only probable window of opportunity, right? Right, Apollo? Oh. Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination. The defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Alright. Rage I sensed in that man troubled me. Sure. That man, you mean Mr. Smith. He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that.
So then you knew the true nature of your client's job.
Of course, but I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that he'd know. They were friends, after all. Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. See, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score. I see. What happened then? Went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. The little window. You mean the one used to keep watch up the stairs? Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The Black Marketeers used it, I believe. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier just to open the door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears had been unfounded? I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least. So far, everything he's saying makes sense. Must have been right after the murder took place. How do you know it was right after the murder? Really, no need to shout, Justice. Was just getting to that part in my testimony. There he is. The coolest defense in the West, we know and love. Even when you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. Was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. With friends like these, who needs enemies? The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo.
Hold it!
By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene. Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. And then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat.
Can you describe the scene of the crime for us?
Bald head and unconscious girl, Wright holding the bottle in his hand.
Hold it!
Those were the only three at the scene of the crime. Yes, as far as I saw at least.
And we're back where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police?
2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
Objection!
There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice, I just said I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose? Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary? How can I show something I can't find myself? Remember, Apollo? The card that was swapped out was the 5th ace. 5th ace, right. Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason? What have we got? We have the card itself. It has blood on it, but that's not overly helpful. Unless it isn't the victim's blood. There's not really an indication that... Where'd she even get this? Unless... Hello, Hollypaw. What are you doing? Yes, you're very fluffy. I would like you to not be right there. Ah! Don't step on my keyboard. I guess you're just looking at it. Whatever. You need to be careful. Yes. My cat. You didn't mess up the audio, did you? No, it looks fine. Worried she might have bumped the wire. Unless the blood doesn't belong to the victim. If the blood were to be... A single drop of blood marks the front of the card. If the blood were to be from the culprit, in this case we're assuming it is Mr. Gavin. In which case... How do I... There it is. The way it says switch tabs and the fact that there's... You can go back and forth with multiple buttons indicates there should be more tabs at some point. That might be interesting. Let's see. I wonder... Because if there's nothing in this bottle, maybe it's a different bottle. Maybe the first bottle got, like... broken. That's how he might have cut his hand and got his blood on it, which would be why he would need to swap it. Polly Paw, you can't be in the window. There's nowhere to sit over there. Okay, so maybe he broke the bottle. I think I'd like to just press the other points first. No, not yet, Your Honor.
Not yet. Pathetic. Not yet. Try not ever.
Well, Mr. Gavin? Oh, I'm willing to wait for as long as it takes. Great. I don't even know what the heck I'm looking for. Paulo? Yes, sir. Don't forget, you already know the answer. You just don't realize it yet. I already know the answer. Take a moment to think it over again, okay? I'm trying to look into that body language thing. It tilts its head up on some statements. Specifically the ones that seem to not quite fit, actually. Since it was not the best place for me to be at the time, so I left.
Hold it!
Wouldn't it have been better to wait for the police to arrive? Remember though, by that time I was already Wright's defense attorney. Wouldn't do for me to become part of the investigation. That makes sense, or does it? I'm confused.
Well, what happened next?
That's when the call came from Wright. You were not Wright's defense attorney if the call came after that. Whatever.
Hold it!
Where were you when the phone call came? I had already left the Borscht Bowl Club by that time. On the phone, he asked me to defend him. Naturally, I was surprised. I accepted, however. I couldn't abandon him. So kind of you. So far, everything jives with Mr. Wright's testimony, I think. Is it going to be a problem for you to cross-examine your own boss? I'm fine. Who was it that taught me never to pull punches in cross-examination? It was you, Mr. Gavin. I learned it from watching you. Interesting. Okay. We'll go ahead to press and then present some evidence. So the only three at the scene of the crime, as far as I saw at least, back where we started, looks right. Is this like the wrong button to skip text? Why didn't you talk to the police? Second, I'll ask to defend Wright. See what he's seen. I couldn't abandon my friend.
Objection!
Very loud. There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice, I just said I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah yes, this mysterious fourth person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap the cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary? How can I show something I can't find myself? Remember, Apollo? The card that was swapped out was the fifth ace. The fifth ace, right. Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason? Let's go. It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out. Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the fifth ace? Blood.
Take that!
My reason is, this.
Is that an ace?
Why? Why, it's got blood on it. Right next to the spade. What?
This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be the missing fifth ace? Inconceivable.
How could you? Please don't knock things over, Princess.
What are you doing with that card?
Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset?
This is a really cute sprite. I like this guy.
It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl.
Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl Club the night after the murder had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock and trade, after all.
Objection!
No. Impossible. Unacceptable. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason?
The reason for
The killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Take another look at the photo and at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell to the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down to the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood fallen onto one of the cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood.
Objection!
Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh. Right. Regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can assess the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now, I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see.
Objection!
This is baseless conjecture. Baseless.
Objection!
I think your voice is different. Must be a re-recording. I guess they'd have to be, since the other one was probably just like crushed. They might not have kept the original file. Plus you're older now, you might want to sound different anyway. Oh, I assure you it's quite based. What? It's amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head...
Ooh, fancy.
The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And, before the killer swapped a card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there's one decisive problem with this scene. Well, what is it? Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit. The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses, whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card. I mean, the blood ran backwards off his head. It shouldn't have really gone onto the cards at all.
Take that!
Well, isn't it the victim's position that has the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. you'd think that any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him. This is some nice music. I should, like, look up the soundtracks for the first 3 games. Put them on my music playlist or something. This game will have to wait till I finish it. Ah. Take a look at here. Take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood would fall on the floor, but not on the cards. Why, that's right. So what does this mean? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh, man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. What do you mean? Like, physically? Oh! The chair was facing the other way. It would have to be. So we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in the photo, in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We know now that the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction.
Ken?
Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on the diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Whose location creates a contradiction if the victim was facing away? Are you saying this guy would have been seen? That doesn't make sense, because he claims to have shown up after it was already done. I suppose it'd be you. It's supposed to be this one. Because if you couldn't have killed him from all the way over there, like that. Not from a blow of the head. The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is? I would think it'd be quite hard, yes.
Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game?
I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light.
What?
There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Apollo with the victim was struck while he was sitting, as shown here. Where would his assailant be standing? Try marking it on the diagram.
What? But there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be.
Don't worry. Let's think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. It's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front? It'd be up here. Maybe it's like a secret passage. This place was used for crimes. If you had a lookout over here, you'd need a way to escape, because if the exit's over there, there's nowhere else, so it's probably like some sort of passage over here. The killer had to be standing, well, here.
You get points for flair, but that's about all you get.
I thought I was onto something there, too.
I hardly need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above?
Someone could be in the cupboard. It has doors, it has space to be inside of. It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that, at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there. What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation. Right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately. Hey, pointing. It's kind of a weird angle for you to be pointing like that at. Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Your Honor? What? There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom, after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means... Follow. Try moving the cupboard. I mean, it'd be up against the window, probably. And then you couldn't look through the window. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to have been as shown here. Now, everything's in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my. What's this? What is it now? Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh, dang. Noticed something, Apollo? A line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? Which indicator in this diagram contradicts what we know about the crime? I wonder if maybe a controller would be easier to hold my hand on. Maybe even access the things. I'll have to test that out later. About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs. Oh, that's right. Someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What did you say? Oh, he's the coolest defense in the West, losing his cool. Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court exactly where did you witness this the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor. Order! This is a court of law and I will have order. We just now received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh, and what did they find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage behind it. What? Ah, yes. I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. I do remember him saying something about that now that he mentions it. The secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal goings-on. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret passage. Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops. And enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo. I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin, come on, say something. Dare I ask what really happened that night? Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with Destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. Oh! What? Why did you do that? Wait here, I'll get help. Miss Olga Orley was out cold, struck by Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shoddy Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him, he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red. Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly, truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. I feel like this isn't like solid evidence. It's sort of circumstantial. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne?
Yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigation. As per Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he's hereby cleared of all suspicion. Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately.
Objection!
Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked. A person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick. Excuse me. The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he's done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. Not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney. I'm the attorney. You're just like an assistant right now. Illegal evidence?
Objection!
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course, this bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? Not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were, upside down.
I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. Court and this case demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold a bottle upside down. And that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor. See how the codfish squirms to the last. Well, Apollo?
Yes?
Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation. Just like that.
Yeah, just like what? Would anyone grab a bottle upside down other than to...
Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one.
Is there really another?
Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight.
How about you just say the answer in plain words?
It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions, indeed. Well, Mr. Justice? Mr. Gavin said the court in this case demand an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down? Alright, what have we got? Why else would you hold a bottle upside down? Not really how you pour it. It'd be a mess. Take a closer look at this thing. It doesn't help anything. I mean, they're in there. I mean, you could just, like, pick it up like that. If they were down below you before, like, writing it for use. It'd honestly be more awkward to not if it were like that. No reason for anything there. I'm not sure that's useful. Like, that would be the most natural way to pick it up if you wanted to get it out of this box here. Since they're like below you at that angle, it'd be more awkward to grab it normally. Let's give it a shot. I don't have other ideas for why one might pick it up like that.
Take that!
It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me, on the floor. Yes, now reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair. Ah! See, you naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Wow, I can't believe it was that simple. Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then, too. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed. But then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano. And you switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon. Which would also explain where the card's gone. What'd you do with that the bottle you used then? Order, order, order! What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin? Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. But what? You claim that I switched the bottle. Where's your proof?
Proof? Well, that's,
As I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty.
Objection!
I wouldn't be too sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, you recall I requested an additional investigation. Ah, yes. I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Borscht Bowl Club. And here is one of the bottles in question. What, are you going to dust that with fingerprints too? I would be surprised if any were on that but his. Mr. Gavin probably wouldn't make such a novice mistake, true. That bottle won't bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo.
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle?
But why?
Just humor me. Mr. Wright. That bottle will solve this case, once and for all.
What? That's some bottle.
Guard. Just crumple it up. What a mess.
There's something inside this bottle. What's this?
That card. It can't be. Call that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Or Miss Olga Orley. She wasn't that unpleasant. She was like fine. Yes, our little swindling devotchka. I don't know Russian.
That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed.
Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony. I happened to put my hand in my pocket, found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the Five of Hearts. Had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Dispose? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. Threw the card inside the bottle. The Five of Hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped. And the only one who could have done that was the fourth person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Ooh. Now you're mad. Someone left that on the floor, apparently. Alright. That is all. That's certainly some better evidence. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago. My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little date, right? I don't...
This is insane. What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
You can prosecute Gavin. I believe this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He has admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. About this victim, Mr. Shoddy Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler. An odd profession, to be sure, and that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright? Yes? 7 years. You still haven't lost your touch. Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed 2 things before I could confront him. First was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo.
Me?
This is a dark time for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. We have to set it right. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us. I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. Yay. We got confetti again. This confetti seems less fancy than the confetti in the previous games. Court is adjourned. April 20th, 4:28 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, the sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... I have one question for the witness, then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true?
Of course it's true.
What's this weird vibe I'm getting? What was that, Mr. Wright? You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself. The answer, right. Today was full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me, I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. I took this off his neck the night he died. It looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him.
Wait, but that's perjury! You testified! You said that locket was yours!
I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth.
Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it?
Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices, after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo?
Yes?
How about coming to work for me?
You mean at the Wright & Co. law offices?
He got his attorney's badge taken away, but he still has his office? What's he doing? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but didn't you... You're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was one man. Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? Talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I'll bet this was the forged evidence.
Take that!
You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left, leaving the wrong card in its place. Luckily for us. The court can't accept this as evidence. It's a fraud. Fraud? How can he be so sure? I would think that the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the person who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. And then you really... Yes, I forged this card. Unlike the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? God. Did you hit him? Shoo! One fly is buzzing around. Leave me alone. I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in, if you'd like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling "take that" next time. I found it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. Had a good time. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law. And this is how my story begins. End. Save my progress, yes please. Completion of episode 1, sure. Save complete. Continue on to the next episode. We're not doing that right now. It's nice and clean. Finish off the episode in one go and then move on to episode 2 next time. Yes. What's this? Oh, there's like more of it. Are there 4 pieces? Oh, the museum. Okay. Whatever. Oh, we have episode selection. Nice. Turn to the title screen, yes please. Alright. So that was episode 1 of Apologistus Ace Attorney. It was good. I quite enjoyed it. This music isn't too loud, is it? Looks okay. That was fun. I'll certainly be back to this on Friday. Friday morning, 7 o'clock, we'll move on to episode 2. Plans are, once I finish episode 2, I will be also starting up and switching with Professor Layton in the Diabolical Box. That won't be until after episode 2, which should take 2 to 3 streams. Seems to be about how long the episodes take most of the time. Then again, these might be longer or shorter. That was just for the previous things. I'm gonna have to set up a new thing for thumbnails. Yes. Let's see. Anything else I need to cover? Why do I have a thing? Notification. What is it? Unclear. It's not loading in. Whatever. I'll sort that out in a minute. But yes, I shall return Friday. About 7 o'clock again. Eastern Standard Time, that is. And we will play more Apologistus. I think I quite like him. Lots of cute sprites. Visual style I think is a bit nicer than the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Good times all around. I believe that's all I need to cover. Yes. Have a nice day. Goodbye.